What's going on guys, Josh here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the 6 elements of every landing page that you have to have if you actually want your products to convert when selling things online. So if this is something for you, I would highly recommend you guys to watch it all the way through to the end because each of these elements are super crucial. We're going to be breaking down all of the different elements one by one with examples as well, so stay tuned and let's get straight into the video. So the first element of every single landing page that you must absolutely have is to have a super clear value proposition. Now what this means in simple terms is what's in it for the consumer when they buy the product. So the ways that you actually convey the value proposition is a few ways. You can either do it through imagery, but mainly it's done actually through the headlines, as well as your unique selling propositions conveyed through icons. Now that leads me to my next element, which is to actually retain attention. So when I'm talking about unique selling propositions, the reason why we put them in icons is because we as humans, right, we have a very short attention span. So by having it as imagery, by having it as icons, we're able to transfer the information, the unique selling proposition or what's in it for them, right, very, very quickly to the customer. Furthermore, in order to continue to retain attention, you also have to have content on the page that is either fast moving like GIFs, actually transferring this information over very quickly. Secondly, the other thing that you need to have to retain attention is actually having imagery where you're showcasing the product in use in the ideal scenario where the customer can actually picture them using the product. Now the next element is actually something that a lot of people don't really talk about, and this is the call to action. Now as I mentioned before, we as humans, we have very short attention spans. In the world of TikToks and Instagram Reels and YouTube and all these kinds of things, people actually have a very short attention span of about 3 to 5 seconds. What this means for you is that you have 3 to 5 seconds to actually convince and convey to your customer why they should be interested in your product, and then 2, why they should be buying the product. So having a very clear call to action is so crucial, especially now in 2021. Now what we want to make sure with a call to action is that it is 1, very easily identifiable for the consumer. As soon as they have ingested all this information and they've understood, yes, this is something I actually need, we want to make it very clear for them where they can go to go further down our funnel to actually go through with the purchase, right? So 1, we want to make it really large, and then secondly, we also want to all along the product page, especially if you're using a long form product page format, we want to make sure that there are multiple call to actions all throughout the page or a sticky add to cart button. The next thing for a call to action that is super crucial is that we want to make sure that the add to cart button or buy now button is above the fold. Now above the fold actually means when you first land on the page, you can see the add to cart button or the call to action right there in your face without you having to scroll down. The moment you scroll down to the next window, that is what we call below the fold. Now moving on to the next element, which is actually on-page product upsells. Now this is actually the element that could determine whether or not your store is profitable or unprofitable. Now the reason for this is because in today's day and age, majority of the traffic that we generate on our stores is actually through paid media forms. As a result, competition is becoming more and more fierce, and therefore increasing our overall cost per acquisitions. So what this means in simple terms is you're paying more for a customer than you did, for example, 4 years ago. Right now, if you don't have product upsells and if you can't squeeze out more dollars from the one click or one customer, this really could mean the difference between you being in business and out of business. So what we want to be doing is actually offering our customers either further discounts for if they purchase more than one item, or upselling them to a higher quality product if that's what they want. Now these on the page upsells can come in 3 different forms. Number 1, if you wanted to upsell them to a higher perceived value product, you can do so on the page. Number 2, by offering further discounts to the customer if they actually go ahead and choose to buy more than one product. And finally, number 3, which is actually offering them a bundle pack where they are going to be buying multiple items all across your store for a significant discount. Moving straight on to element 5, which is social proof. Now this is probably one of the most important elements out of the 6. Now the reason why this is the case is because we as humans, further to us having low attention spans and all that kinds of things, we are a social type of being. What that means is that we do not like being the first person out of anything to make a purchase. We don't want to feel like we're going to be the first person buying this particular product. As a result, rather, we would feel much more comfortable if there were over 3,000 reviews that have all said, yes, I love this product, and therefore it kind of puts us at ease, or your customers at ease, when they're making that final decision to actually go ahead and buy this product. So the way that we actually go ahead and convey social proof on our product page is through 3 different ways. Number 1 is through product reviews. This is an amazing way to prove to the customer that yes, other people have gone before you and they have purchased this product and they've had that same problem that you are facing right now, and they've actually solved it. Then number 2 is video testimonials. By having a video testimonial of a consumer, you're pretty much allowing the customer or other people to sell your product for you. It comes off as more natural and less salesy, and we know now in 2021 that people hate being sold to. So we need to be a little bit more crafty, and to do this we use video testimonials, product reviews, and even in our ads, UGC content. Now finally, the third way that we convey social proof is actually having an as seen in Forbes magazine or any kind of recognized publication. What people assume is that if a product has been featured in a credible publication, that immediately increases the level of trust that the consumer has with your product. And finally, the final element that is crucial on your sales page in order to convert cold customers is actually to have a section on the page that is specifically designed to overcome objections from the customer. Now, why this is important is because all of the other 5 elements, these are elements that are going to convince the emotional side of the brain for the consumer to be like, yeah, this is something that I definitely need. Now, once the emotional side of your consumer's brain has been convinced and they're pretty much jumping up saying, yep, I want to buy, how can I buy this? Something comes and throws a spanner in the works. This is the logical side of their brain. It's going to start coming up with all these kinds of objections. What's the risk involved? Is this product actually going to work for me? Do you actually ship to me? How much will I have to pay for shipping? What kind of warranty will there be? How come this product actually works? All of these objections are all going to start coming up as soon as the emotional side of the brain has been convinced. So as a result, what we need to have on our product page towards the bottom is actually a frequently asked questions section. This part of the product page, more is more, right? So what you need to be doing is going through and sitting down with your product and figuring out and looking at what are the obvious objections that consumers will have when considering to buy my product. With every single one of those objections, you need to have an answer. And this list should be continuously evolving, because from the very get-go, there is no guarantee that you're going to come up with every single opposing objection. This is just not possible. So as a result, what you need to be doing is whenever any consumers come up with a new question that you don't have in your FAQ, you need to go ahead and add that question and then finally have an answer to that question so you can increase the likelihoods of you converting cold traffic later down the track. Now, the first example I want to use is hellotushy.com. Now, these guys are amazing at very quickly and very succinctly transferring the information that the customer needs in order to make a decision. So these are the unique selling propositions of this product. So save your ass, save your money, save the planet, and save the world, right? So by doing this, they're not only adding a little bit of humor, but they're also through visual cues, they're able to show what kind of benefits the consumer is going to receive by buying this kind of product. For example number 2, we're going to go through Boom by Cindy Joseph. Now, these guys are amazing at retaining attention. So if you can have a look here on my screen, in the buy box up at the top in the carousel, what they're going to have is multiple images of the product in use and also the ideal customer in the product image carousel here. Not only that, but they're going to have high quality image products. So what actually happens with that is that they can create this aspirational type of content for the customer that is viewing the page. What that means is when they come onto the page, they see these images and they're like, oh yeah, I want that. They can aspire to have this kind of outcome, okay? Now, the next thing that they do really, really well in terms of retaining attention is that having multiple videos all across the page. If you can see here that they not only can deliver the message very, very quickly, or what's in it for the customer very, very quickly, but they are also able to transfer that knowledge through a video for here. And then there's another video down here that shows the different use cases of how this product is able to be used on any kind of skin tone, no matter what it is. Now, example number 3 is actually going to be your call to actions. Now, we're going to continue on with Boom by Cindy Joseph just because they do such an amazing job with this. Now, as you can see on the page right here, you can see that their add to cart button is not only quite obvious to the eye, it's very prominent on the page. Now, they use this fluorescent pink color, and it's actually very hard to miss once the consumer actually makes the decision that yes, I want to buy this product. So yeah, they don't actually have to go searching for it. So the call to action is right there. So pretty much what Boom by Cindy Joseph is doing is actually reducing the friction for the customer to flow further down the marketing funnel. Now, as we continue down the page, as it is a longer form product page, right? As I mentioned, that you need to have another call to action as you go down. So as you can see right here, after all the conversion assets have been presented, they actually show the price again, as well as the call to action once more in that high visible color, and again, reducing the friction in terms of pushing the customer down the marketing funnel. Now, moving on to example number 4, which is on the page product upsells. So as I mentioned that there are 3 different ways to go ahead and do this, we're going to go through 3 different examples. Okay, so the first one is Organifi, and as you can see here on this page, what they're trying to do is they're trying to do buy more and save, right? So if you go ahead and buy 3 bottles, you're going to save X amount of dollars, and if you go ahead and buy 6, which is their largest upsell, you can go ahead and save $122, right? So that's example number 1. Now, another example of that is actually going ahead and now the second upsell is actually upselling into a bundle or a collection of different products. And as you can see here on Organifi, they actually have this right under the call to action button. They've got the or complete the bundle and save an extra 25%. So what this actually leads you to is a bundle of their 3 best-selling products, and they're going to show that you're going to save about 26%, down from the price of $239 to $178. So in the consumer's mind, this is just going to be a better deal, and this might convert 20% of the customers that jump onto the product page. Now, the third way that Organifi actually upsells on the product page is actually by allowing for a subscription model. So as you can see here, if you click on this button right here, it's join the membership and save 15%. So what this is doing is it is ensuring that the customer will purchase consistently over the next 1 or 2 or 3 months, right? So by doing this, they're enabling a recurring stream of revenue, and therefore just really squeezing an extra couple dollars out of the customer. What this actually does is that it lowers down the cost per acquisition for the customer, and also increases the overall lifetime value of the customer, right? So that they can continue to squeeze more dollars out of the customer without having to pay that cost per acquisition every single time. Now, moving on to the 5th example of the elements that you need to have on your product page, which is social proof. Now, we're looking at Snow teeth whitenings for this one, and these guys do it amazingly well. So as I mentioned, there are multiple ways for you to convey social proof on your product page, and we're going to go through a few examples right here. So as you can see, as soon as you jump on the product page, right above the fold, you can see here that there are 3,561 customer testimonials, and it's looking like there are 5-star reviews. So if we go ahead and click onto that, as you go down here, you're going to see 3,561 different reviews of different people all around the world showing and telling about how they previously had a problem and now they've solved it. Now here, most of the images right here are showing the after photos. So they're saying, and they're pretty much showcasing, hey, this is what it looks like when you finish. And then they've also got images here that shows the product in use, so the customer can kind of expect, okay, this is what it's going to be like when I purchase the product, receive the product, and actually go ahead and try it. Now, the next element that these guys use really well is actually having the as seen in. Now, as we go ahead here, our brand recently was featured in Mary Claire, People, Allure, and Ellen, right? So these are very reputable different publications, and by having this, it just really increases increases their credibility. It also increases the customer's trust in the brand. So they're willing to kind of just give it a go. Now, the final element of this video that I want to cover is actually overcoming objections of the consumer. As I mentioned before, when the emotional side of the brain is convinced and they pretty much are ready to buy, what happens is the logical side of the brain kicks in. Now, this is where the FAQ section is super crucial, right? So as a result, by having a look at dropbottle.com, you can see here that there are several FAQs that they go ahead and look through. So these are all the objections that the brand has gone ahead and noticed or jotted down, and they've actually created a specific section on the landing page to allow for those objections to be kind of quenched. Now, the one thing that I forgot to mention previously was actually to overcome objections, it has to be a clear indication of the guarantees or the warranties that a brand actually provides on the product page. As you can see here on Boom by Cindy Joseph, right here where it says the 100% no risk money back guarantee right under the call to action. Now, this is insanely powerful. When people are going to actually click the call to action, if for whatever reason in their minds they have some sort of doubt, by seeing this 100% no risk money back guarantee, that's going to just ease the level of friction that the customer feels when actually making that decision. So by having some sort of solid guarantee on your product page is an amazing way to overcome objections and to really improve conversion rates on your store. So guys, I really hope that you got some value out of this. We went through 6 different elements that your product page needs to have in order to drive that conversion. Now remember, I did mention that these elements all need to be on the page, but the order in which they're presented is entirely up to you. Now we're going to go through this in a further video later down the track, but for now I want you guys to understand that yes, we need to have all of these elements, but there is no one guaranteed template to fix your conversion issues. You need to drive traffic, analyze, and then make tweaks. This is the constant game of e-commerce. You always need to have this. Now, once you have fully optimized your product page, then you should be good. You can continue to run traffic and all these kinds of things. Then all you need to do in the future is just continuously update your offer, introduce other products, and all that kinds of stuff. But that is for another video. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you also go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know exactly when I'm dropping another video. And if you have any questions, make sure you throw them down below in the comments section. I'll be there more than willing to help, and I hope you guys are staying safe. I'll catch you guys very soon, and thank you so much. I'll see you soon.